Today I'm talking about anxiety disorders, and we're talking about a particular cognitive distortion called perfectionism. This is Paige Pradko. Welcome to Therapy for a Better Life. If you've been following along, you know that I have a system for treating anxiety that I call the CALM method. And C are techniques for calming the body. A are techniques for accepting anxiety. L are logic techniques. And M is moving on, and those are distraction techniques. So today we're in the logic section, and we're talking about a particular cognitive distortion called perfectionism. So we all struggle with sometimes components of perfectionism, trying to do something perfect. Now, there are certain professions that we expect perfection from, surgeons, engineers, many others. But in our daily life, we have to ease up on perfectionism. So perfectionism, as I said, is a cognitive distortion. We're distorting really reality because none of us are perfect, right? And this is kind of all or nothing thinking that we're doing here with perfectionism. It has heavy costs to be perfectionistic. It can paralyze people. It really shrinks their lives, spending so much time on this activity. Their anxiety and stress can go up. They can have avoidance behaviors, really a lot of isolation and loneliness, because they are missing connecting with others, and they're missing the real experience of living in the moment and all, the joys and experiences of that. So the goal here is to move from a perfectionism type behavior attitude toward just good enough. When you look at perfectionism from a neurobiological view, it's very similar to an addiction. There is this perfectionistic drive, and it activates the sympathetic nervous system, so our anxiety goes way up. And then we do these behaviors, whatever the perfectionistic behavior is, writing something perfect, doing something perfect, looking perfect, you're having a presentation that's perfect. The drive gets going, and there is this kind of belief that something bad will happen if it's not perfect. People won't love me, they won't admire me, they'll lose respect for me, but there's something there that they're trying to avoid. And sometimes that is also distorted. And so if perfectionism fails, their mood goes down. There can be self-loathing and just despair, anxiety. It can lead again to isolation and avoidance. So perfectionists have this difficulty feeling safe with others. We think also it's related to attachment disorders. And they have a difficult time trusting others, just being safe with them. And so to compensate for that, they turn away from relationships, and they really kind of focus on stuff and appearance and achievements. And so if they work on actually trust and feeling safe with relationships with other people, we find that their perfectionistic tendencies go down. So what do we do about it? Well, first we recognize it and we label it. That is a perfectionistic behavior I'm doing. We have to consciously think about, what are we giving up? It's usually connecting with others. It's like living in the moment. And what is the cost? The cost is high anxiety, avoidance, isolation, relationships. And so what we do is we begin to really experiment and practice with being imperfect on purpose. We want to actually make mistakes on purpose and leave them there. Now, at first, when a perfectionist makes a mistake, their anxiety will go sky high. But over time, that anxiety just drops on its own as they don't correct it and they leave it. And that is actually how you rewire the brain. So we have to learn to actually tolerate that initial feeling when we make a mistake, when something's not perfect. We have to tolerate that anxiety and work on learning to tolerate that until the anxiety drops on its own. And then we want to really focus on connecting with others, because there's an issue there. We have to learn to trust others and work on it. Work on connecting with others, focusing on connecting. And also we want to think about our values, about what is most important to us. Is this connection with others, experiencing things in life, is that more important, or is the perfectionistic tendency more important? And we have to kind of act in line with our values. Our goal here is to go from perfect to good enough. I think we're all good enough. And I hope you learned something today about the cognitive distortion of perfectionism. And I'd love to hear in the comments if you struggle with some perfectionistic tendencies and what you do to help yourself with those tendencies, and if you liked any of the particular ideas that I shared in this video on how to help yourself with those tendencies. If you'd like to hear more about mental health topics and techniques, don't forget to subscribe. You'll be notified every Monday when I have a new video released, and hit subscribe here. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.